Why is it that in a world with the highest level of material comfort in human history, rates of anxiety, depression, and emotional numbness are at an all-time high? Many of us believe that mental health means being happy all the time or having zero stress, but this is a dangerous misconception. True mental health is not the absence of the storm. It is learning the skill of navigation in the middle of the storm. In this video, we will break down the scientific and practical roadmap to mental well-being so you can stop the internal war and achieve true psychological peace and balance. The first step toward mental health is understanding that your brain did not evolve to make you happy, it evolved to keep you alive. The human brain is a threat detection system designed to constantly scan the environment for danger, negativity, and worst-case scenarios. When we are unaware of this evolutionary mechanism, we believe every negative thought, fear, and catastrophe our brain creates. Mental health begins with the realization, I am not the negative thoughts of my brain, I am the observer of these thoughts. There are two primary drivers that severely impair human mental health. First, overthinking, getting the mind trapped in a past that cannot be changed or a future that hasn't happened yet. Second, emotional avoidance. Society has taught us that emotions like sadness, anger, or fear are bad and must be suppressed. But suppressed emotions do not die. They are stored in the subconscious and eventually erupt as unexplained anxiety, panic attacks, or physical illness. The first practical step toward mental well-being is cultivating the observer mind. A mentally healthy individual learns to create space between their identity and their emotions. Instead of saying, I am a depressed and weak person, you'll learn to say, I am currently experiencing the sensation of sadness in my body. This subtle shift in language strips emotions of their power to crush you, allowing you to observe and manage them objectively. Mental health requires emotional capacity. When a negative emotion arises, instead of escaping to your phone, alcohol, food, or video games, sit with that emotion for a few moments. Emotions are like ocean waves. If you stop fighting them and allow them to pass through your body, they naturally subside after a few minutes. Inner peace happens when you reconcile with and accept your own shadows and uncomfortable feelings. Your brain is built entirely on what you feed it. If you consume 5 hours of negative news, unrealistic social media comparisons, and toxic conversations daily, expecting good mental health is like eating trash and expecting a healthy body. Mental hygiene means ruthless filtering. Limit your media intake, distance yourself from toxic environments, and keep your mental sanctuary clean. You cannot build a healthy mind in a neglected body. Modern psychology proves that a vast majority of neurotransmitters like serotonin are produced in the gut. Irregular sleep, lack of movement, absence of sunlight, and a diet high in processed sugar directly disrupt brain chemistry. Often what you diagnose as clinical depression is simply the biological result of chronic sleep deprivation and physical inactivity. To heal your mind, you must first honor your body's basic biological needs.
Humans are deeply social creatures. Chronic loneliness and social isolation activate the exact same pain pathways in the brain as physical injury. One of the strongest shields for mental health is having at least 1 or 2 deep, authentic, and safe relationships, spaces where you can remove your mask and be your true self without fear of judgment. Deep human connection regulates the nervous system like nothing else.
Toxic positivity tells us to always smile and ignore the negative. This is one of the greatest threats to genuine mental well-being. A mentally healthy person is not someone who never feels pain. A mentally healthy person is resilient. They recognize that life involves suffering and challenges, but they cultivate the internal confidence that they possess the tools to handle it. Instead of denying pain, they extract meaning from it. Ultimately, the greatest guarantor of mental health is having meaning in life. As psychiatrist Viktor Frankl famously noted, he who has a why to live for can bear almost any how. When your life serves something greater than your fragile ego, whether it's personal growth, helping others, or connecting to a higher truth, daily struggles lose their power to break you. Inner purification means cleansing the mind of envy, resentment, and pride, achieving absolute harmony within yourself. One of the quietest killers of mental health is the gap between reality and expectations. When you harbor expectations of yourself, others, or the world that conflict with reality, resentment and anxiety are born. Expecting that nobody should ever wrong me or I must achieve everything by a certain age traps your mind in constant disappointment. Managing your expectations is the ultimate key to reducing psychological suffering. When the human brain lives exclusively in the future, it creates chronic anxiety. The mind's relentless attempt to predict every outcome and control everything is a dangerous illusion. You cannot control tomorrow's endless variables. Trying to manipulate what is outside your hands, like the economy or other people's actions, exhausts your mental energy.
Many of our adult emotional reactions, irrational fears, and self-sabotaging behaviors do not belong to the present. They are reflections of unhealed childhood trauma. Feeling I am not good enough, the intense fear of rejection, or the inability to trust stems from an injured child still crying in your subconscious. Ignoring these wounds forces you to repeat toxic patterns endlessly.
In the era of social media, the human mind is subjected to the most extreme comparison environment in history. Comparing your raw, behind-the-scenes reality with someone else's curated highlight reel breeds inadequacy and envy. Unconsciously copying others' lifestyles, goals, and standards causes you to lose your authenticity and sink into emptiness. Holding on to grudges, bitterness, and refusing to forgive is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. An unhealthy mind constantly replays past betrayals, failures, and painful words. Rumination drains your current mental energy and anchors you in a state of permanent victimhood. Perfectionism is not having high standards. It is the paralyzing fear of failure and harsh self-criticism. A perfectionist cannot feel satisfied unless everything is 100% flawless. Because perfection is impossible, this trap leads directly to severe procrastination, anxiety, and self-loathing. It is the #1 enemy of inner peace. If your self-worth relies entirely on how much others approve of you, your mental health is built on a bubble. Extreme people-pleasing and the inability to say no lead to weak personal boundaries. Constantly prioritizing others' needs over your own eventually creates deep, suppressed rage. Wearing a mask mandated by society, family, or media for too long causes self-alienation. Suppressing your true identity, values, and desires to keep the peace triggers a slow, silent psychological breakdown. Losing touch with who you truly are is the deepest root of existential emptiness. Your worst enemy is rarely external. It is the cruel inner critic inside your own head. The tone you use when speaking to yourself determines the quality of your mental health. If every minor mistake prompts you to call yourself a failure or useless, you systematically dismantle your own nervous system over time. The final destroyer of mental health is remaining in a victim mentality. Blaming parents, society, luck, or the economy for all your emotional suffering completely strips you of power. Taking 100% ownership of your psychological responses is the only doorway out of internal hell. Having dissected the 10 pillars of mental health and the 10 inner destroyers, the full truth now stands before us. Mental health is neither a random gift nor a lucky genetic trait. It is a conscious daily choice and practice. You cannot control the external world, the actions of others, or the unexpected storms of tomorrow, but you hold absolute authority over 3 things: the inner tone you use when speaking to yourself in your quietest moments, the thoughts and media inputs you allow to occupy your mental sanctuary, and the courage you bring to face your own suppressed emotions, fears, and shadows. True mental well-being is making peace with the past, releasing the obsession to control the future, and living authentically right here in the present moment. It means learning to become your own safest refuge instead of hunting for external validation. Starting today, pick just one of those 10 psychological destroyers, bring it into the light of awareness, and break its grip on your mind. You do not need to be perfect to experience deep inner peace. You simply need to be real. Which pillar of your mental health needs the most care right now? Share your thoughts in the comments below, like the video, and subscribe for more deep psychological breakthroughs. Until next time, stay grounded, stay authentic.